guys, welcome back. It's Savannah, and today we're going to be talking about a lot of fitness misconceptions that happen. We see it all the time. Ask any personal trainer. It's absolutely insane, the things that people get off the internet that are just totally incorrect and that affect the way they train. And this was actually requested by my following on Instagram, so let's get into it. Don't mind this little notepad, I just want to make sure I keep on track and don't get a little sidetracked. So here we go. The first one I want to touch on is eating late does not equal fat gain. Okay, so you need to see your calories holistically. The problem I see the most with people is that they see their calories broken up throughout the day. So if they eat something and then they work out, they say, oh, I just burned off my breakfast, but you can't do that. You're also burning off calories in your sleep throughout that night, and then in the morning before your workout, and in your workout, and again, like when you eat at night, it's about the whole calories. So bottom line is your body is going to process your food in the same way and use it for similar things no matter when you eat it. You might feel a little bit more bloated if you eat at night. It might make you feel gross. I know it does that for me. But eating at night can also be necessary if maybe you're not getting enough calories throughout the day. You might want to snack on something at night to make sure you're getting those calorie numbers, because again, this counts for the whole 24 hours. It's not just an hour-to-hour thing. If you've burned, let's say, 1,800 calories before you go to bed and you're only at 1,300 calories, eating 200 more calories is not going to make you gain fat. You're still in that calorie deficit. Number 2. This happens more so with men. I've actually gotten questions about it before. You don't need protein powder. If you want to gain muscle, you do not need protein powder. That's not a thing that's necessary. It does not equal muscle mass. What equals muscle mass is weightlifting and putting that stress on your body to have to adapt to. So increasing that weight so your muscle fibers break, and the protein is what helps rebuild those muscle fibers. So if you're not getting enough protein, maybe if you are a vegetarian, or if you just don't think that you can eat that much meat, then protein powder might be a good option for you. But if you're able to get in that meat, it's definitely better to eat it right from an animal rather than a powder. Your body will process it better if it's like that rather than a powder. As for different protein powders, your body will process whey protein closer to animal type meats than pea protein, let's say. But again, like I myself prefer pea protein because whey hurts my stomach. So it's all up to preference, but you do not need protein powder to gain muscle. I don't know where that came from. I don't know. Sometimes it's just convenient to have protein powder after a workout to help rebuild it. And to help with recovery. So that's another option, and that's kind of why weightlifters have protein powder a lot. One more thing I want to touch on with protein is you should not overdo your protein. Yes, protein is very, very good for muscle reconstruction, but if you are having over 35% of your diet in protein, it's going to be super, super hard on your kidneys. And your urea production is just going to be over the roof, and it's going to have a hard time processing it. And it's just going to have a really hard time on your organs, so just be cautious. Just know how much you're eating, how much you're taking in. Next, for my ladies, weightlifting, it does not equal bulky. Just like protein powder doesn't equal bulky, weightlifting doesn't equal bulky. I mean, do I look bulky to you? No, because I don't want to. So this goes for all people. Unless you're training in a specific way and eating in a calorie surplus and, trying to work in that hypertrophy range and then increase that weight and then keep working that hypertrophy range, you're not going to get bulky. Not to mention, ladies, you don't have the testosterone to grow boulder shoulders, okay? You just don't. I have seen some women who work really, really hard and they have really defined shoulders, but I still wouldn't consider them looking manly by any means, so do not worry about that. We can work on whatever we want to when we weightlift. We can make our body look the way we want to, and that's the beauty of it. You don't have to look like a man. You won't look like a man. You'll look beautiful. Next, another one for the ladies. Squatting doesn't equal a big butt. I will just tell you that right now. Squatting, especially if you're just squatting like regular feet hip width apart, it's a compound exercise, so you're getting the hamstring, the quads, and the glutes in there. So that doesn't equal big butt, especially if you don't have that mind-muscle connection. What will maximize your workouts is having that mind-muscle connection. So when you're going into a workout, know what exercises you're doing, know what muscles they work, and as you're doing those exercises, really focus on contracting those specific muscles, okay? So if you're working glute exercises, I would work a little bit more glute focused exercises than just squatting if you're going for that larger glute. So maybe sumo squats, some RDLs, some kickbacks, and just really focus on contracting that glute muscle. Because if you're not doing that, you're not going to maximize it, and you're not going to see as much progress as you could. But yeah, squatting does not just automatically increase your butt size. So don't overdo the squats if you think that's going to be magic for you. I will say this for both people, but I see it more in guys, that isolated exercises is the best for building muscles. Sorry if you can hear that, there's an ice cream truck. Anyway, so isolated exercise, like let's say you have a cable single arm curl like that, it's gonna be good for the isolation, you're gonna feel it a lot, but you can't do a lot of weight, you can't increase that weight, so your muscle fibers aren't gonna keep adapting to that. You need to build that muscle in more compound exercises, if that makes sense, because it's gonna be a little bit harder for you to keep increasing that weight on the isolated exercises. Not saying that you shouldn't do isolated exercises, I love them, so keep doing them, but they're not like top priority for building that muscle. Last thing about misconceptions, cardio. Oh my goodness, stop thinking that cardio is the best way to lose fat. Stop it. Scratch it. It's not the best way to lose fat. The most efficient way to lose fat is actually weightlifting. What? Who? Weightlifting. Oh my gosh. Now, if you add cardio in, that's great. If you add cardio in at the end of your lifting session, that's great. But the best thing about lifting is that it actually increases your metabolism. And after a lift, you will keep burning calories at a higher rate. So that doesn't really happen with running or any steady state cardio. That's also why HIIT workouts are just as effective as steady state cardio, because you have kind of a resistance training mixed in with that, so you're burning calories after that as well. So it's just as effective for HIIT, and it's more time efficient. So if you're looking for a fast cardio, HIIT's got you covered. But yeah, I personally, when I lost the most body fat was when I did weightlifting and then just like 15 minutes of cardio after. And I did 15 minutes of cardio after about 3 to 5 times a week. So it's not, you don't need to do that much if you want to increase your heart health or you're looking to increase your speed, sure. But for weight loss specifically, do not burn yourself out over cardio, okay? And that kind of leads me into my next thing. Now, I did ask on my Instagram story for questions about fitness, and I chose my favorite one out of them because I just think that this one is so important to touch on because I see it so much, and I know a lot of people see it so much, and it was my thoughts on overtraining. So overtraining is a huge thing that happens. I have fell victim to overtraining myself. And a lot of people get in this mindset where they feel like they're going to lose all of their progress if they take a day or even like a few days off. Muscle does not atrophy that fast. Muscle will not go away that fast. It will not leave you. If you take like a week off, maybe you'll be sore when you come back, but you're still going to have the muscle that you had before. You're still going to have the progress that you had before. And taking a day or two off sometimes is super good for your body to just kind of relax. You're putting a lot of stress on it, especially if you're trying to build up a lot of muscle. Your body needs that time to relax and de-stress from all of the weight you're putting onto it and all the stress that you're putting onto your body. It needs to be able to rebuild that muscle. It needs to be able to reset, and just like, it'll feel refreshed. It's like getting a really good night of sleep after you've been out all night. You just feel refreshed. It feels really good. So please don't overtrain. You actually, if you just keep training every day, you will stop seeing progress because your body is just too stressed out. So please stay safe. I love you guys. Thank you. If you liked this and you want to see more, I might do more fitness misconception videos later. So drop a like, comment, subscribe below, and come visit us on Instagram at SavannahG_CPT or our website www.savannahgpt.com for our full list of services. We also have some free resources on there for you guys. So I will see you then.